Yes, and the bedpost was his own. The bed was his own. The room was his own. Best and happiest of all, the time before him was his own to make amends in. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. Oh, Jacob Marley, heaven and Christmas time be praised for this. I say it on my knees, old Jacob. On my knees. They are not torn down, rings and all. They are here. I am here. The shadows of the things that would have been may be dispelled. They will be. I know they will. I don't know what to do. I am as light as a feather. I am as happy as an angel. I am as merry as a schoolboy. I am as giddy as a drunken man. A Merry Christmas to everybody! A Happy New Year to the whole world! There's the door by which the ghost of Jacob Marley entered. There's the corner where the ghost of Christmas present sat. There's the window where I saw the wandering spirits. It's all right. It's all true. It all happened. Really, for a man who had been so out of practice, it was a splendid laugh. A most illustrious laugh. The father of a long, long line of brilliant laughs. He ran to the window, opened it, put out his head. No fog, no mist. Clear, bright, jovial, stirring cold. Cold, piping for the blood to dance to. Golden sunlight, heavenly sky, sweet fresh air. Oh, glorious, glorious. What's today? He called out to a boy who had perhaps stopped in to loiter about him. Eh? What's today, my fine fellow? Today? Why, it's Christmas Day. It's Christmas Day. I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. Well, they can do anything they like. Of course they can. Of course they can. Hello, my fine fellow. Hello. Do you know the poulterers on the next street but one? I should hope I do. A remarkable boy, an intelligent boy. Do you know whether they've sold the prize turkey? Not the little prize turkey, but the big one. What? One as big as me? Delightful boy. It is a pleasure to talk to him. Yes, my buck. It's hanging there now. Is it? Go and buy it. Walker. No. I am in earnest. Go and buy it and tell the man to bring it here that I may give them the address where to send it. Come back with the man. I'll give you a shilling. Come back with him in less than 5 minutes. I'll give you half a crown. The boy was off like a shot. I shall send it to Bob Cratchit's. He shan't know who sends it. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim. He got himself dressed all in his best and went out into the city streets. The people were by this time pouring forth as he had seen them with the ghost of Christmas present. And as he walked with his hands behind him, he regarded every person with such a delighted smile that 3 or 4 good-humored fellows said, "Good morning to you, sir. A Merry Christmas to you." And Scrooge said often afterwards that of all the blithe sounds that he had ever heard, those were the blithest in his ears. He had not gone far when he spied the old gentleman who had come into his counting house the day before and said, "Scrooge and Marley's, I believe." It sent a pang across his heart to know how that man would look upon him when they met. But he knew what path lay before him, and he took it. "My dear sir, I hope you succeeded yesterday. It was very good of you. A Merry Christmas to you, sir." "Mr. Scrooge?" "Yes, that is my name. I trust it may not be pleasant to you. allow me to ask your pardon, and will you do me the good favor? Here, he whispered into the old man's ear. Lord bless me, sir, are you serious? Not a farthing less. A great many back payments are included in it, I assure you. Will you do me that favor? My dear sir, I don't know what to say to such munificence. Don't say anything. Come and see me, will you? Will you come and see me? I will. And it was clear he meant to do it. Thank you. I am much obliged. I thank you 50 times. Bless you. He went to church and walked about the city streets and watched people walking to and fro, and he patted children on the head, and he questioned beggars, and he looked down into the kitchens of houses and up into the windows and found that everything could yield him pleasure. He had never dreamed that any walk, that anything could bring him so much happiness. In the afternoon, he turned his steps towards his nephew's house. He passed the door a dozen times before he had the courage to go up and knock, but he made a dash and he did it. Is your master at home, my dear? He's in the dining room with mistress. Upstairs, if you please, sir. I'll go in here. He knows me. Scrooge put his hand upon the lock, opened it, sidled round the door, and said, Fred! Lord bless me, how his niece by marriage started. Bless my soul, who is that? It is I, your Uncle Scrooge. I've come to dinner. Will you let me in, Fred? Let him in. It was a mercy he didn't shake his arm off. He was at home in 5 minutes. Nothing could be heartier. Everything was just the same. Wonderful party, wonderful games, wonderful unanimity, wonderful happiness. But he was early at the office the next morning. Oh, he was early there. If only he could catch Bob Cratchit coming late. That is what he had his heart set on. And he did it. Yes, indeed, he did. 9 o'clock, no Bob. 1:15, no Bob. He was full 18 minutes and a half behind his time. Bob's hat was off before he came through the door, his comforter too, and he was on his stool driving away with his pen, trying to overtake 9 o'clock. How now, what do you mean coming in here this time of day? I am very sorry, sir. I am behind my time. You are? Oh. Yes, I should say you are. This way, if you please, sir. I'm very sorry, sir. I was making rather merry yesterday. Mr. Scrooge, it won't happen again, sir. I'll tell you what, my friend, I shan't stand for this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, here Scrooge gave Bob such a dig into the waistcoat that Bob tumbled him back into the tank. And therefore, I'm about to raise your salary. Bob got a little nearer to the ruler. He had a momentary idea of knocking Scrooge down with it, holding him and calling to the people in the court for help and a straight waistcoat. A Merry Christmas, Bob. A merrier Christmas, Bob, my good fellow, than I have given you for many a year. I will raise your salary and endeavor to assist your struggling family, and we'll discuss your affairs this very afternoon over a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop. Make up the fires, and buy another coal scuttle before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit. Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, But he let them laugh and little heeded them, for he was wise enough to know that nothing ever happened on this globe for good, at which some people did not have their share of laughter at the outset. His own heart laughed, and that was good enough for him. He had no further intercourse with spirits, but lived upon the total abstinence principle ever afterwards. And it was often said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May that be said of us and of all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, every one.